Hello, Rachel. Hello, Elliot.
Hello.
Uh, Glad to see you. We want to discuss about the absolutely non-standard program from Tavistock Institute of Human Relations. And could you please tell us a little bit more about the program? Because for sure, I had experience in this program. This is not the traditional standard program. Could you please tell us a little bit more about the program?
So the program of group relations, or we call it usually a methodology. So the methodology of group relations is not standard, I guess, partly because it's been running for so many years now and has been applied all over the world in a way that I don't think any other organizational program has been. So in a way, it's developed its own identity, and its own identity continues to, even though it's not standard. It's not standard in the sense that I suppose, like you come from a business school, you don't have teachers standing in front of a classroom talking to students about theory and then sending them home to write essays, etc. So this is not standard because it's based completely in experience, and it has the invitation to people who come together to study. We still use the word study, to study in the here and now that experience. So that, whilst it sounds indeed very confusing and often takes a long time to understand how to do it, even inside the event, somehow it's attractive, and it has been attractive now for pretty much 80 years, 80 years, and applied around the world by different professionals from different backgrounds, and mostly by people who have a particularly interest in understanding groups and understanding themselves inside of groups in a way that classical organizational and business studies programs don't offer.
Yeah, so you were saying it's experiential, Eliat, and there's something about the way of learning experientially. You're learning with your whole self rather than just intellectually, so it somehow sticks more. So you're learning not just in the event itself, but afterwards as well. So as you're going about your daily work, things about the conference that you've attended will come back to you, so to illuminate what might be going on. So it helps you going forward in your work over maybe many years, in fact, because it's a powerful experience. It's impactful. So yes.
My next question is, why is this method is so popular and demanded along organizations?
It's suitable for everybody who, every human being who understands that we are always part of a network, part of a group, part of a community, part of a system. And there are merits to try to understand what is happening in those systems, which is maybe not on the surface, but below the surface. I think it becomes popular in retrospect. I think after you've attended, you might fall in love with this way of working, and then you want to make it available for all your environment and network. And you can see the advantages of experiencing this to help make sense of various experiences in the workplace, also in the home place environment, and in the wider society.
I think some people, maybe there has been some research done about what makes people happy. So some people are made happy by pleasure, for instance, hedonism. But some people are made happy by doing things that are psychologically interesting, I suppose. And I think this kind of answers that. It's something that, around maybe 15% of the population might kind of fall in love with it, as it were. It gives you a unique lens on the world. It gives you a way of looking at the world, the organization, the team, looking at yourself. It gives you a way of looking at these, which kind of helps you understand what's going on, which can be very revealing and maybe relieving, if you like. So I think that's certainly one or two of the reasons why it's popular, if you like, why people like it.
Thank you so much. Could you tell us who will benefit most from this program? Who it for? Who can join?
It often appeals to senior people, I suppose, who managers, who maybe are grappling with middle management, perhaps even more so, who have, are in the sandwich between the managers and the employees, and often have to translate to their employees decisions that maybe they don't necessarily agree with. So I think for managers, this is very helpful. This is a very helpful way of studying and understanding and making meaning. It's a helpful method to make meaning of the world that we live in.
So all sorts of people come to these conferences. So you can have a consultant, for instance, an organizational consultant. You can have a leader of an organization, and the organization could be a huge conglomerate, or it could be, they could be a freelancer from all sectors. So, we've had artists, we've had bishops, we've had authors, all kinds of people. Sorry?
Educators.
Educators, yeah.
Activists.
Therapists.
So definitely therapists, people.
Very interesting.
And all kinds of ages as well.
Yes.
The whole range of ages. And different career stages too.
Students. Yeah. We regularly have students actually, full-time students and or students on PhD programs.
And as I remember from our last group, the insights could be unexpected. You will never know before the program what kind of insights you will get during the program. Could you please give some cases of how leaders using the result of their experience at work?
So you might be going through a change program. You might be wanting to implement a change program at work, and you're finding that it's difficult to implement it. It feels like you're kind of treading through mud, and that people are very resistant. So coming to the conference and looking at how people are reacting to like suggestions, for instance, so how people make themselves into groups in the conference, how people resist. You can also talk about it in the conference about how to make change happen, how to lead, and also how to get followers, if you like. So it's about leadership, but it's also about followership.
I think some of them, every program event, like a group relations one, also has very applied elements to it, which we normally refer to as review and application. And those methods of thinking about, so what does this experience mean to me back at work, and how can I implement it, are also an integral part of the program. So people can also take back to their organizations the method itself in terms of constructing groups, perhaps action learning groups, or groups that we might call role analysis, where you might give actual opportunities for people to implement whatever it is that they need to implement in the organization when they get back there, and also ways of working with other people in the organization. So it sounds, when we describe it, I think the dilemma is always that it all sounds very abstract, but it has a very pragmatic, down-to-earth, grounded, so what answer as well. It's often, I often take as feedback comments from people who attended a conference, and then they maybe send us their reflections. And for example, 2 or 3 that struck me lately are one that says that something about the environment that was contained by the staff and created a safe space where you can talk and play, enabled exactly that, talking and playing in a way that perhaps when you are outside of a program like this is a bit more difficult to do. And another one who had a more personal reflection about learning that who she is enough. And that can be also quite profound in terms of a society that always drives more, better, bigger, of whatever a person is doing or can be, and learning that what you offer is also enough as it is, I think is quite, I suppose it has some spiritual element to it. So you learn in this conference is something about acceptance, about belonging, about inclusion and exclusion, about power, in a way that goes beyond the spoken words or the written theory about those.
Thank you so much. And I think we need to announce the dates of next program in Almaty. Next program will start 28th of May in Almaty at Narxoz Business School. So join us. We'll be happy to see you. And let's try this unique experience. It's absolutely unexpected. That bring you unexpected insights, unexpected new thoughts after program. And I will be happy to see you in Almaty. Join to the program. Welcome. Maybe you want to add something more.
So you come to the program and you're in a small group to start with of up to 12 people, and there's a consultant in the room, and you're working on what's going on in the group in the moment, in the here and now. And the consultant helps the group by making hypotheses about what they think might be happening. And then you're also in a large group, which is the whole of the membership, again with 2 or 3 consultants doing the same thing. So that's the small groups and the large groups. Then there's the organizational event. That's where all the members choose to get into groups. So they can choose how they get into groups and obviously which group that they join. So it might be themed in some way. There might be something that they want to talk about. And then the objective is to look at the system as a whole, to be in your group, talking about your themes and working on what's going on in the group. And then what is your relationship with the other groups in the system and with the management group, which is the staff. So how are you relating to these other groups? And then, as Elliot mentioned, there are review and application groups. So these are towards the end of the day. And the review group is just looking back and thinking about what you've been learning during the day. And then it becomes more applications. So working out how what you've been learning can be applied to your everyday work.
Sometimes they come all from the same work environment, so they think they know each other. But I think this program, really people learn to know each other in new ways, and a lot of friendships, in fact, develop out of a conference event like this due to the intimate nature of it. And those friendships often survive many, many years and support also in the professional environment in various collaborations. And the fact that you have this shared experience with someone else. Yeah, I don't know. Often, in other places, the environment is more international, so that is even more extraordinary sometimes. But I think also in a more local environment, still the network that can develop out of it both develops new practitioners in the sense of new people who want to incorporate this way of working into their own daily activities, be it in a university, be it as a consultant, etc., be it as a manager, or more at the level of interpersonal friendships, relationship.
Thank you so much.
Ultimately, it is all about the relationships and the connections, and the depth, the deepness of the connections is the unique takeaway, if you like, that you're coming out of the meeting with.
Yeah, I suppose the one thing we haven't said is that we at least preference this methodology to be applied in person. So whilst we have had to engage in doing conferences online over the years, especially around COVID, also with the Asian community, but we think that in the end of the day, humans are social embodied animals, and we prefer the method to be applied in person. So everybody who comes to Narxoz Business School in May will be there in person. We're not going to work with screens. We might discuss the implications of latest technological developments on the workplace, but we will work with each other in person, sweating and breathing in the same space. And that also makes it, I suppose, somewhat unconventional in this day and age.
But these experiential experiences are that much more precious in that as everything becomes more virtual, I think.
I visited a lot of the program because, of course, we creating the new ones, and I love learning. And I visited in business simulations, case studies, and blah blah blah. It's a lot of interesting things that happening. But this program for me was absolutely non-standard program. I didn't. First of all, I didn't get the aim of what I should do, and every participant doing something, but I don't see our goals. I don't understand what's happening. But the program include a lot of time for reflection when we reflecting ourselves and when we go into the coach. And after that, we start to understand what's happening. And we had a lot of unique thoughts because of the different experience during the program. And, you know, some of these thoughts and some of this experience was according to my work relations, and some of them were about my personal relations with my friends, my families, etc. So my main thought about the program that you will never know what you'll get, but for sure you will get something really important for your life and for your relations. That was my experience.